Okay. This channel is going to be dedicated to eosinophilic esophagitis (EOE), and my experience of it. So I have it. I'm 17 years old. I've had it chronically since being diagnosed at the age of 8 in 2016. So I'll tell you all how it happens. In 2016, I was messing around with the rays and it got stuck in my throat. Right, I just threw it up in the air, thought I would catch it. Yeah, didn't happen at all. Didn't catch it at all. Um, So yeah, I went to the emergency department for that. Pretty embarrassing, I know, right? So I went to the emergency department for that. It is what it is for that. And they took biopsies of my esophagus because it was inflamed. They're like, well, why is it inflammation? You don't have really any allergens except tree nuts. So I was like, well, I don't know. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna take some biopsies. And when they took some biopsies, the next couple of days, they told me the results. They're like, there are 20 to 30 eosinophils, which is kind of like white blood cells, kind of like attacking my esophagus, right? From a food allergen or mold allergen or seasonal allergen or pollen allergen, whatever it may be. So that happens. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna refer you to a gastroenterologist, right? Whatever that's called, right? I don't really care. A couple days go by, we'll go to this gastro doctor, right? Digestive doctor. They're like, okay, well, I'm gonna start you on omeprazole, acid reflux reducer, and in a couple months from now, we're gonna see the results. We're gonna do another endoscopy 3 months from now, all right? 3 months from there, I do another endoscopy with that doctor, and that doctor is like, okay, well, your eosinophils have increased to 50 for some reason, and he's like, well, I don't think it's the best scope of my profession to handle your case because it seems to do kind of out of my range. So I was like, I'm gonna transfer you to a more advanced doctor, and this doctor that I was advanced is my current doctor as of today, and that doctor, stay with him for a couple years. He puts me on omeprazole. I mean, I was already on omeprazole, but he still keeps me on omeprazole. Flovent, right? Kind of like a steroid to prevent inflammation in your esophagus. He puts me on food diets, soy, wheat, milk, eggs, all that stuff. Couple years, right? Keep doing these different food elimination diets. Even a hypoallergenic formula diet, which is the worst. I never recommend that to anyone. Please do not ever do that, please, guys. Doesn't matter how bad it may be. Please don't ever do that to yourself. You'd rather be on a feeding tube than doing the hypoallergenic formula, right? That tastes horrible. It's just all amino acids combined in a milkshake, vanilla or chocolate. Please, just my advice, don't do that. So I did that for 2 months, and I hated it. I hated every day of it, every moment of it. The eosinophils did go down to like 30, right? It was 50 after I did the omeprazole for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then he transferred me to my current doctor, as I said, and then I was staying on omeprazole with Flovent, and then with the Flovent and the diet, it went back to 30. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do another food diet, whatever it may be, soy, wheat, egg, dairy, all that stuff. It was one food diet at a time, so for a couple years. So I did that, another food diet, numbers stayed the same, did another one, stayed the same, did another one, stayed the same. So he was like, okay, well, I think your case is more allergen based. I was like, okay, what does that mean? He was like, well, that means I'm going to transfer you to another doctor, right? And this doctor was a female that I was transferred to. And I'll tell you the story that I had with her. And this was about during COVID, I would say, right? Stayed a couple of years with the doctor that I'm currently with in that time, back in 2016 to 2020. 2019-ish, and then he transferred me to this doctor, and she was working with an allergen specialist team, and he was like, well, I think it's in best interest that if I transfer you to this team because she works with the allergen specialist team, so they're working closer together, you can get better treatment if possible, better results, better support. I was like, all right, well, let's try it. I was like, better support, better treatment is what I want, right? I want to live my life to the best quality. So that happens. She was like, okay, well, I'm going to put you on another diet, and if that diet doesn't work, we're going to put you back on the hypoallergenic formula. I was like, hell no, there's no way. And I still did it, right? Didn't really have a choice. So I still did it. And when the day of the endoscopy comes, around 2020, right, March, she was like, okay, well, we're going to do the endoscopy, March 20th-ish. I come in, I'm going to do endoscopy. I see her in the elevator. I didn't know that was her because she was wearing an alien suit, right? That doesn't matter. I don't even know why I included that, but just felt like I could. So get ready, get sedated, take propofol, go to sleep, whatever. 5 minutes into the procedure, she doesn't continue the procedure because she says she can't pass the mid of my esophagus because she says there's a stricture. But with the doctor that I had before, from 2017 to 2020, 2019, he never said there was any stricture at all with all those food diets, with the hypoallergenic fluid and the Flovent. Okay, she was like, okay, there's a stricture. There's narrowing in your esophagus. I don't want to pass through. I feel like there's too much of a risk. And that pissed me off, right? 2020. And after that endoscopy for 5 years till now, July 24th, 2025, I had no endoscopies from March 20th ish of 2020 to January of this year, right? I didn't even think about it. In January of this year, I noticed that swallowing was getting difficult for me. I would have to take water with every sip. The last couple of years, swallowing was a little bit difficult, so I didn't really think much of it. It kind of got normalized, kind of adapted to it, right? But then this year, because I'm 17 right now, I'm about to turn 18 on Halloween, right? I was like, okay, well, I want to make a change. Let's go back to the old doctor, the doctor that I liked, the doctor that comforted me, the doctor that I could relate to, and the doctor that actually took me serious. So I went back to that doctor in June 11th. I had a pre-op clinic visit to talk about what we were going to do for the future endoscopy, which I had on July 21st of this year. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to just need to do an endoscopy. Tell me what you feel, dysphagia, right? With just trouble swallowing, food feeling stuck and going down with like bread, meat, all that stuff. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to do an endoscopy on July 21st from now. And I was like, well, can you get me started on the Flovent? I was like, Flovent, help me. He was like, no, I can't get you started on the Flovent because I don't know the condition of your esophagus. You have not had an endoscopy in 5 years. I was like, all right, fair play, you're right. July 21st comes. I had my endoscopy with dilation, right? I actually did request a dilation from him because I knew, my esophagus kind of got narrowed, right? And the doctor that I had in 2020, she even said there's a stricture in your esophagus. I was like, all right, well, I didn't really think much of it because I could eat perfectly fine back then, just with water. But then this year, January, it got really bad, right? Even had some anxiety from it, which is not normal, right? The normal esophagus length is like 20 millimeter. My esophagus on July 21st, before he dilated, it was 15 milliliter, right? So you could definitely feel some food getting stuck sometimes, dry food, meat, then passing, right? I never had a food impaction in the last 5 years, thank God. Hope I never have one. And he dilated to 18 millimeter, and which I'm very glad that he did. I was hoping that he was going to do a dilation because it's a lot easier for me to swallow. So that doctor on July 21st of this year, really love him. Definitely the best doctor. I'm really happy that I had him for my endoscopy. I'm really happy that I had the dilation, and some signs that I noticed. If you guys have any trouble swallowing or you feel food getting stuck, please go get it checked out. Don't do the mistake that I did, that where when you're pissed off with the doctor, that you let it off for 5 years and let it progress or worse. Thank God, in my case, it did not worse. It did not really get worse at all. My esophagus just narrowed. And sometimes that's called fibrosis, right? It's the trachealization of the esophagus, right? Your trachea has rings, and maybe that sometimes can happen to your esophagus where it gets rings, and you could have trouble swallowing. You could narrow down, you could collapse, right? Potentially, God forbid that. So I had the dilation, and I didn't know the one piece of advice I would do for anyone that if you're gonna have an endoscopy with dilation, you have to do it asleep. I was asleep, thank God, right? But you also need to request pain meds in advance, right? Lidocaine drink if you can. I don't prefer that. I don't like that. I just need to feel what's going on, regardless if I'm in pain or not. I took Tylenol. This is July 24th right now, so I'm in day 3 of recovery. I'm still in some pain, but it's definitely better than day 1. On day 1, it was really, really bad. I felt a sharp stabbing pain in my esophagus, right? They dilated the middle of my esophagus from 15 millimeter to 18 milliliter with a balloon. Either they do it with a balloon or a bougie, right? Sometimes they also do it with a stent, right? But that's in severe cases. If they can't dilate it at all, if it's too narrow, they do a stent, which might keep it in permanently for a couple months. And with these dilations, you might need them from a couple months from now, from a couple years. It just really depends. And when I actually did get my results, because I did get my results from the endoscopy because they took biopsies, right? For my lower esophagus, I had 13 eosinophils. Mid esophagus was 18. Upper esophagus was 15 eosinophils, which I was really surprised, right? Thank God. I'm really happy that I have those great results. Because I was like, okay, well, I didn't manage my condition in the last 5 years. So I was like, surely the eosinophils have gone up maybe like 60, 70, right? Really bad. But no. With no treatment in the last 5 years, no care taking that time, no endoscopies, my eosinophils actually decreased. Thank God, I'm really happy for that. But I'm gonna make this channel, and this is a video. This is my first video. I'm gonna keep making videos on this because I feel like a lot of people don't really know what EOE is, right? Eosinophilic esophagitis is, and what people have to deal with, right? Definitely something you don't want to deal with. It's a chronic condition, and there's no really test to see what you're allergic to, right? They don't have the technology developed for that. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions in the comments, please ask. I've been living with this since childhood. I'm 17 years old right now. I've been through food impactions, choking, all that stuff. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. I'm going to make this series, and I want to document, because I personally feel like through all the videos that I've watched on this EOE that there's not enough coverage on it. There's not enough awareness about it. So if you guys will have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and don't worry. If you're having an endoscopy, it's not as bad. They only IV you. They put sedation. They're like, okay, 10 seconds, you're going to be out. That's it. You wake up with a sore throat, and that's it. That's all you got to do. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.